In by Pellegrini. Helped away by Klaassen. What a finish that is. Roger Ibanez has completed the turnaround.
The Calcio Guys is a weekly podcast by Adriano Donardo, Gianni Dellacoli, and myself, Nicholas Di Giovanni. We want to bring Calcio back to its roots in our communities and share stories from around the world about why we're passionate about the beautiful game. You can listen to us anywhere where you listen to your podcasts, including Spreaker, Google Podcasts, iTunes, Spotify, iHeart Radio, and Mixcloud. Give us your opinion on social media at The Calcio Guys on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. The intro song is Fireworks by Jazar. Like a good soccer team, we got a little bit of experience and a little bit of youth this week as our guests on the podcast. Coming back as a guest here on the Calcio Guys, we got Rafa Rispo, and then we got a new guest this week, Rafael Bizzarro, both from the Raff and Raff podcast. So Raff and Raff Rant.
Get it right.
So guys, thanks for coming on. How's it going? Oh, I think we lost it.
Got it. Sorry, had the mute button on. Yeah, no, Ralph. It's Nick. Ralph, what's up? Nick, it's going good, man. Sorry, pretty crappy start to this. No, it's going great. It's going great. A late Buona Pasqua to all you guys. How was your festivities? Holiday Pasquette as well? How was it?
It was.
Mine was good.
What we made of it, we couldn't really gather, but yeah.
Still a lot of food.
That's for sure. That's
the most important part, just making sure you get a good meal in there with the family. How is it in Canada? Is that real strict about? I'm down. I'm a little more south here in New York. I could say that because you're from Canada, I'm from the South here. No, but is it that tight up there to go see family? Maron.
Oh yeah.
Sorry.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's very restrictive.
Yeah.
We have a curfew, and they just announced as of
Sunday, Montreal,
they're shortening it to 8 p.m. now. So it's always fun. Always fun. So.
Oh, boy.
It means we have more time to do podcasts, right?
That's it.
It does. Ralph and I know a thing or two about that.
It.
Yeah.
That's it.
Before we get into our Napoli talk, what we like to do with our guests, we want to know how they became a fan of their team. Rafa, you've been on already, so we're gonna have this question for Ralph. How did you become a Napoli fan?
Well, I think it was, my mother's from Caserta, so my family's from southern Italy, and I think naturally, being Napoli the biggest team closest to Caserta, it was only natural that I became a Napoli fan. And my brother used to play soccer, and I have faint memories of watching Maradona on the tube TV. So I was kind of born into it, if you will. Kind of born it, it was a birthright,
And so you said, would you say like Maradona was like your favorite player growing up? Like, obviously, it's a really loaded question to say, is Maradona your favorite? Probably the greatest player of all time. But like, would you say like he was like your absolute favorite to watch, or?
It's I have faint memories of it. I'll be honest. Growing up, I would say I'm more of a late bloomer when it comes to being more of the hardcore fan of Napoli. Once things became more of a, I think I went to Napoli when they were in Serie B at the time. I believe it was about 98, something like that, 99 maybe, rough. And I went. There was a Nike store, one of the piazzas, and I bought the jersey.
Yes.
And I think from that point on, I was hooked. And my uncle, who I'm really close with out there, who lives in Napoli now, he was, he put it on TV and he talked to me about it. And ever since then, little by little, I got even closer. And And so I'm kind of a late bloomer, I would say. I'm kind of a late bloomer. But I always loved Napoli no matter what. So
I absolutely loved Napoli Nike gear, man. That was just some of their best gear for me. Fun little fact is that Napoli was the first Serie A team to wear Nike. And then Inter joined and never looked back. But yeah, that's a little fun fact. Napoli was the first Serie A club to wear Nike.
Rafa would know that.
I didn't even know it. Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Zio Cheese.
Zio Cheese got all the information. That's
Zio
right.
stats right there, man.
You come out with like, oh yeah, fun fact: the first time a bald eagle ever flew by in Italy was over Stadio San Paolo.
That's why Lazio has the name of the eagle. Yeah.
Rafa, what was the temperature when the last time Napoli won the Scudetto? What was the temperature on pitch level, the air? Do you know all that?
It was about 80 degrees Fahrenheit.
Fahrenheit.
You heard it here first.
All right. Sounds
all right.
May
in Napoli. Sounds like
I could probably get the real answer for you too.
Don't test them.
Quick minute.
I bet you could.
If you excuse me for a moment, I'm going to get the answer. No, I'm just kidding.
But moving along, Ralph, you mentioned you're a late bloomer. Just to bounce off what Johnny had asked you, what would be your best memory as a Napoli fan? What is the one memory or the few memories that stick out to you? We got Rafa's answers in podcasts, previous podcasts. So we really want to hear what you have to say about that.
Oh, without a doubt, was my first game my first and only games as of now in San Paolo. Now the Maradona now. It was I think maybe 2008. I think. It was Quagliarella was our striker. I remember getting tickets. We sat in the Curva B, and we had relegated Atalanta to Serie B that day. So I think it's 2008. Rafa.
Yes, that was the match that we secured.
Quagliarella scored 2 goals.
Yeah, we secured the Europa League that match for the first time in. No, that wasn't the first time because we'd won Intertoto in 07-08, got to the UEFA Cup that way, didn't make Europe the next season, and that season that you went, Ralph, that's the match. Not only did we relegate Atalanta, but we qualified for the Europa League.
Yeah, it was about
never looked back. Qualified for Europe every season. So thank you, Ralph Pizarro.
You're welcome.
There you go.
No, it was best sporting experience of my life. Other than watching the Rangers at Madison Square Garden in the playoffs a few years back, like 2010. But it was quite the experience. And I got a fun story. If I got a minute, I'll tell you.
Go for it, brother.
No, this one it blew my mind away. So I'm sitting on this little faded booster seat that you get in the restaurant, because that was pretty much the seats in San Paolo. And it's like first come, first serve, basically. You just run in, you grab seats, and we sit. So anyway, see how the game starts. And everybody stands up, like immediately. Everybody stands up, and not only do they stand up, they stood up on the chairs. And this is how they watch the game. Now, for a second, I don't know what's going on. So I'm in my seat still, like, looking around. And I go to my cousin, I'm like, what's going on? He's like, you got to stand up. I'm thinking, all right, maybe the national anthem. No, that's how they watch the game. They stood up,
that's amazing.
On the seat. They stand up on the seat. And I'm like, all right. So
that's amazing.
So my feet are together. Forget it. I had the hip pain after I was done. But man, it was quite the experience. And afterwards, you know how we go, you get like a hot dog for halftime? No. There's this guy walking around with paninis in his school bag. Somebody pulled out
paninis and cornet.
Yeah, like big ziti's coming out. I'm like, what's going on here? I'm like, this is surreal. But Napoli is quite the place, and I can never, as far as a sporting experience, I can never forget that. And it made me love him even more, I guess. So
I mean,
it's funny that you say that, Ralph. It's funny, Ralph. It's funny that you say that because when I went in 05, Napoli was in Serie C. I didn't sit in any of the curva. I sat in the distinti, and they were like high school bleachers, like old faded wooden high school bleachers in the distinti, right in. If you look to the left of Ralph's head, there, it's like right above the scoreboard. Not the new board, not that, but this one. This one.
Yeah. This one.
Where it says Stadio San Paolo di Napoli, where now there's a score, thing there. But it wasn't there before. But yeah, that was like everyone was sitting there. Like that's where you bring the family if you want to take the family. And that's where we got that day. But yeah, in the curva, no one's sitting down at all, ever.
No. And it's not necessarily family friendly in the curva either. Unless
No.
Yeah, no.
I think that's just like any soccer culture. Like even if you go to like a Montreal Impact game, I went with Gianni a couple of times to Montreal Impact game. Like obviously the ultras there are very tame compared to in Serie A again, especially with Napoli.
But you had a good time.
I did. No, I did. I mean, I was what, like 15, 16 when we went.
Yeah.
But again, it's not somewhere where you'd bring your family at pretty much any level of soccer.
Yeah. What season was that when you went?
I started
2012.
When I started, that was like 2012, 2014 around. I used to bring you because for us, high school in Quebec ends at 16, 17 years old. There's only grade 11. Then afterwards, you start college before you can go to university. So when I hit college, I was like 17, 18. I'm like, okay, like I have all this free time and stuff. I start going to the ultra section for the Impact, and like I always loved ultras in soccer, and I'm like, let me have that kind of experience here in Montreal, and it was fantastic. Like we weren't even in the MLS yet, but it was still very lively.
Oh yeah.
And then I have to bring Nicholas along. I brought a couple of friends. I used to bring my ex-girlfriend at the time and stuff, and like it's and then afterwards when you stop watching the game in the ultras, I can just watch it on the sides or whatever. It's not the same because you're like hopping along, you're chanting, and like nobody else is doing anything, and you feel like an idiot because you're like just like by yourself. Okay, fine, I'll stop. But like
the vibe is different.
When you watch the game in an ultra section, it's completely different than watching it in like let's say a family section or like a regular guest section type of thing. I mean like that's the way I felt. But it must have been interesting to watch the game in the Curva B.
It was fantastic. I wouldn't trade it for anything.
Yeah, and just to add to the point about the food, I think it was like a clip on Facebook that was making the rounds, like when they were playing against Liverpool in the group stages of the Champions League, there was a video where somebody busted out a whole tray of lasagna and started just distributing it to people.
It's real.
That's,
right?
Yeah. So,
there's no hot dog stands in San Paolo. You can't you can't get a pretzel, no. But you could get baked ziti from some.
Yeah. There wasn't even bathrooms when I went. You all peed in a hole on the floor, bro. I'm not kidding.
Oh my God.
This was back in 2005. It's not a joke. Yeah.
All right, let's move on.
Bella Rustica, But go on, guys.
So, Adrian, got any question? Or sorry, Johnny.
Well, I was about to ask. So, how did you guys first start collaborating with each other? Like, talk to us a bit about your show. Like, how did you guys just decide? You know what? Let's team up. Let's do this together, type of thing. Like give our listeners like a bit of like a history between you two.
Okay, so I'll start. Basically, Ralph and I joined this Facebook group called the Calcio Napoli Club USA. I was already part of another group on Facebook. We were kind of dueling groups, but I wasn't really feeling the vibe in that one group. I'm still part of that group, but when Ralph opened up this one, I really always liked Ralph. I just thought he was cool. So we started communicating and we started chatting in private. Then together we formed a FIFA tournament among the group. So we had this FIFA tournament together, right? So we would talk back and forth about how we want to run the group, how we want to, run the tournament, how we want to do it. We do drawings for it and all that stuff. We did a whole thing. We had a good time doing that, and then we started talking about Napoli. And then one day, we came up with an idea to do like I don't know if you guys have ESPN up there with, for the American version, the ESPN2, but it's the First Take, the show First Take with Stephen A. Smith and Max.
Yeah.
Kellerman.
We sort of had an idea to do that. Now, I was already doing Far From Vesuvius stuff, right?
Yeah.
And Ralph, I noticed when he would post a draw for the FIFA tournaments, it would be like this. You have this music to it, and there was this like production to it. There's a whole production to it. He's got this mic, this camera. And I remember when I had to do it once, it was on my phone. It was, just, hey guys, I'm picking from a hat, And I was like, whoa, that's crazy. So I thought maybe it'd be a good idea to get like, a video together to do it under the Far From Vesuvius umbrella, maybe once a month, maybe, whatever. We started talking about ideas, and then the talk started to fizzle a little bit because I just got so busy. It was right around the time of the reopen stage of the quarantine. And Ralph had gone on to start another podcast with another co-host, and then that fizzled out. And I was like ready to go with this. We were going to call it Raff and Raff, and just that, and then just have like a debate, just like nothing analytical, nothing, just go back and forth and just talk, no script, nothing, right? No outline. Yeah. And then that didn't work out with Ralph and his other guy. So I said, hey, I'll find the time. Let's do it. So,
Beautiful.
that was pretty much it. And then, he became part of the Far From Vesuvius family shortly after because of his great work. And really, that's it. Ralph, if you want to add anything else to it.
There was, one small thing. I mean, that was pretty much the gist of the story. But I remember, so when I was doing my initial podcast, it was like an audio thing only. Rafa had said, we were chatting in this group in the Calcio Napoli club on Facebook, and Rafa was like, yo, we need to do a rant. I was like, let's do it. Now I know he had a podcast, and I was a fan of Rafa and the Far From Vesuvius podcast with Kenny and the rest of the group. And so I thought he was asking for me to feature on one of his shows. I was like, hey, that's awesome. Let's do it. And then and it was literally at the same time that I started this new podcast. And I think Rafa had an idea of let's do a podcast together. And I was under the pretense that it was just like kind of like a one-shot deal.
As a guest, yeah.
So as a guest. So then once I started it with my other co-host, Rafa kind of backed up a bit because he thought I was doing my thing. So there was a little miscommunication there. But either way, I went ahead and did it. It fizzled out, like Rafa said. And then I kind of hit him back up. I was like, Ralph, do you still want to do this rant? He's like, yeah, I know you were doing your thing. And, I was like, dude, I thought you just wanted me for one day. I didn't know you wanted a project. So right after that, I was like, let's go for it. I highly respect the dude, and I love his opinion. And he's an overall good guy, Rafa. And it's a full, I know we're a little crazy with the Tifosi stuff, but it's good to find a Neapolitan who's a little calm. Sometimes, maybe to balance me out a little bit. And
I mean,
calm enough.
Sometimes I'm calm. Sometimes I fly off the handle, bro. I really try to be the voice of reason for Napoli fans.
Right.
I really do, honestly.
Right. I see that. I see that on Twitter.
Yeah, but there are lots of times where, I lose my shit too, dude. I do.
I've seen
but yeah. But Ralph has become almost a member of the family since we started this podcast, or since we started this venture. My kids have talked to him. We're trying to get like a kids thing going, like once in a blue moon, we get the kids out. We actually did do a recording. We tried something that didn't work out. So we have a recording of something with my kids in the basement somewhere. But we're gonna try it again. Yeah, but the kids talk to Ralph. They're always like, "Hey, can I?" After I'm done with when we do a rant and we're still in studio in the back, and the kids are starting to come into the room. They're like, "Hey, Ralph, what's going on, Ralph? Hey, Ralph," and they want to get in and they want to use the mic and look at the. And then I just visited my parents for the first time in a year and a half. Because of the pandemic, everybody is vaccinated, so we were able to get together safely and happily for Easter and beyond. And they told me, they said, "Hey, make sure you tell Ralphie we love him too. He's a good guy, Ralph." I don't know if I told Ralph.
Yo, you're gonna make up. Again, Rafa, you're gonna make us tear up again. This is the third time, bro. I don't understand.
Listen, I don't know what it is about me, but maybe it's because I'm so much older than you guys.
Hey.
My parents have really taken what about Ralph? The other Ralph, the Ralph. I said, yeah, what about him? He goes, we really like that guy. He's so good. He's so good. I said, well, he's the reason we're here. I mean, listen, Ralph.
This is new to me, by the way, gentlemen. So I'm just as
Ralph.
Yeah, I know about
Ralph Pizzato. Okay, this guy, he says to me all the time, "Oh man, without you, we're nothing. We're nothing." No, without him, we're nothing. Because the production, the sound, I needed a boom, so he sends me this boom. I needed a piece of this, so he to connect to the boom. So he sends me all this stuff. Like, he's really got my back, dude. And we just kind of really clicked, And he's made me an admin on his thing. I've put him in the Far From Vesuvius umbrella. So it's like, we're really close now. We've never met each other in real life, but we're really close. And I'm so happy, even when I don't want to do it. I once I sit down and turn it on, it's like I see his face and it's like, man, let's go, let's get it.
Here we go. That's it. That's amazing, guys. That's a great, yeah. Again, you're making us all gush here, but no, that's honestly great, and I think it's so great that within this cultural community that we all somehow seem to be a part of, it's great to connect. We've had Rafa on a couple of times, and honestly, it's as if he's an older brother, Nutsi, our dad. Like, he's one of, he's that type of guy, right? And you know what? We're grateful to have Ralph on tonight as well. So it's so great to connect with all these different fans from different parts of the world, different cities, whatever. So again, guys, great work that you do. Before we gush away and we melt away, I think we should talk some Napoli.
Yeah, now that all that
the two games, yeah. Because if not, we're gonna melt here.
I got a pick with Giovanni.
So we had Napoli play Crotone, and we had the Juve game yesterday as well. So for me, honestly, the Crotone match was a thriller. I didn't expect it to be a 7-goal thriller. I didn't expect Napoli to let go of that lead and really hope and pray for a late winner. Just guys, if one of you guys or both of you guys want to have at it, what were your takes on the Crotone match? What did you see? What did you like in that match? What did you see in the Juve match that we had yesterday? The 2-1 result, probably, I would have, obviously a disappointing result for all Napoli fans. An important matchup, the matchup that we've all been waiting for from match day 3. It's a long. That game was a long time coming. They finally played. It was a big game. Obviously, Champions League spots were on the line. So, guys, just whoever wants, however you guys want to answer that, thoughts on the matches, bright spots, low spots in the matchup. Take it away.
Rafa?
Yeah. No, I'll start. I'm sorry. So for the Crotone match, and again, I'm the positive guy. I'm trying to see the positives of everything. The first half was amazing. I mean, amazing, absolutely amazing. Insigne's goal early, after receiving the Player of the Month award from March, shortly after receiving it, actually. A couple minutes later, his amazing assist, passed by Fabian, to Insigne, the give and go. Fabian back to Insigne on the corner. One times it right to Osimhen, who walks it basically right into the net. The way they celebrated. They give up a goal quick to Simi, who is Crotone's all-time leading goal scorer with 60 at that point. He ended up scoring 61 later. Mm-hmm. But then Mertens' free kick, second free kick in as many games, goals, and the first half looked amazing. Something happened where I went into my car to go to work. I get to work, I turn the game on. It's the 50th minute, and it's 3-2. And then and I'm cutting hair, and then all of a sudden it's 3-3. And it's like, what the hell is going on here? I can't believe it. I can't believe I'm seeing this. This is Crotone. We beat Crotone 4-0 in Crotone. And what the hell is going on? The winner comes from our right back, Di Lorenzo, who Just put the ball right past what's his name? Cordaz, right? Is his name?
Cordaz.
Cordaz. And there you go. So the funny thing is that we do the post-match rant every match, and Rafi Bizzarro went into studio, and I was busy with hair, but I was listening to so much negativity, not from Ralph necessarily, but so many like, oh, we need new center backs. Oh, this is terrible. Oh, this was terrible. Oh, this was terrible. And all I listen to is negativity about this club. Now, I get it. I was critical of the people being negative when we lost games like this to Spezia, when we lost to Verona, when we played like crap against Torino and found a draw, when we lost to when we beat Udinese, but we had to fight and scratch and claw and beat Udinese. People were upset. Yeah. But these are games in the wintertime that we were losing or we would draw, and we found a way to get the 3 points. And we're as close as we are to even second place. Had we won against Juventus, we'd be 1 point from second place. Yep. You understand?
Yep.
So for people to complain about that was just getting to me so much. Like that's what I took away from this Crotone match, is that yes, we had problems. Yes, Koulibaly was suspended for the match. So Manolas and Maximovic, because Ramani wasn't ready fit yet. And they collectively, cost us 2 of the 3 goals. And yes, it's an issue, but we found a way to win the match. Like, if this continues the rest of the way, we're in good shape. So that was my takeaway, was no matter how ugly it looks or how much we lost, dropped the ball and let them come back, we found a way to get that win from an unlikely source. As a matter of fact, Di Lorenzo, anytime he gets a rest, he plays like a world-class game, because he's been playing his ass off in the right back position all season long. He's been tired, but he finally got some rest, albeit away with Italy. He didn't play much. He trained, he traveled, but he didn't play much. But he finally got a little bit of rest, and boom, he gets the game winner. And I saw that as a positive, A guy who's not playing very well gets us the game winner. There's my story about the Crotone match.
To piggyback off of what Rafa said about Di Lorenzo, I think this guy's underappreciated sometimes. I mean, he plays all the time, and he's gonna have some bad times, but considering the odds, he does pretty well. And then he comes up with the game winner and assist. It's like, I don't know, what are you looking at? This guy's good.
Well, what happened, Ralphie, is that with Di Lorenzo, a lot of fans see Di Lorenzo and say, okay, he had one good season with Empoli. He came onto the team last year. He was pretty decent, and now he's back to normal Di Lorenzo, who hasn't had a look. Well, he's 26. He didn't have a look till he was 23. Okay, granted, people might have a point there, but there's a reason why Napoli scouting picked Di Lorenzo as their right back. Napoli have the tendency to go out and get some of these players who turn out to be amazing players. Look at Jorginho, look at Fabian, whether you want to say anything about him now or not. Yep. But they found him, they found Osimhen, they found Lozano, they found a gem in Alan, they found a gem in I said Jorginho already. Like they want to bring in Zaccagni this summer. Napoli have that. Look, Mertens, you know what I mean? Callejon, look, the scouting is second to none, I feel, besides maybe the Juventus scouting when it comes to getting free players in. They've done that better than anybody else. But to criticize Di Lorenzo.
Sorry to interject. I'd still say Napoli's ahead, because I think for Juve it's gone down recently. If you look at players like Ramsey and Rabiot,
recently,
but there's even.
I mean, the catering.
But Rafa, just to do quickly, I remember there's this graphic I've seen so many times. The amount of money Napoli spent for these players and how much they're worth. I'm talking about from Lavezzi to Callejon to Koulibaly to Mertens. The list goes on. So you know what? You got to tip your hat off to what Napoli is doing in that department. I agree with Ralph. I always listen in. I'm the one that's usually controlling our Calcio Guys account, so I do listen into your guys' rants.
Yes, we see.
And I know Ralph, and I know Ralphie has I don't know if it's a huge love for Di Lorenzo, but I know the appreciation is there, right? Mm-hmm. And I think it's deserved as well because, listen, he went from and made that big jump to a bigger club in Napoli, got some Champions League experience, got some Europa League experience, got some national team experience. So, and he's definitely their best wing back that they have, right? So. Sure. That's just my 2 cents on Di Lorenzo as the player himself.
I mean, our left side has been juggled with 3 players, and Di Lorenzo is pretty much has been commanding that right side. Well, one guy who's done. Let
me interrupt there real quick.
This guy got to get a yellow card, kicked out of a game to finally get a break.
Yes,
you know what
I
mean?
Yes, exactly. He has to be suspended to get a break. Let me tell you another thing. Yosef Husai is a right back. He's a right back. So in all fairness, we sold Malqui. Essentially, we don't have a backup right back, quotation, air quotes. We don't have a backup right back. Yeah. Usai is a right back. He's been playing left back so that Di Lorenzo could play right back. So we had, we have Gulam, he's injured, but we had Mayuri and Husai on the left back. So thank God Husai's been playing on the left back because we lost Gulam. It would have been Rui and Gulam, and so he's been on the left. And I know he's played on the left before, but naturally Husai's right back, and they switched his entire position to accommodate Di Lorenzo. So for us saying we only have one right back is not true. We have 2.
I don't mean like you know what I mean as far as consistent goes, but nonetheless, I think the guy that should be mentioned the most was the one that didn't play, and that was K2, because the minute this guy's not on the field, 3 mistakes from our center backs, 3 goals, done. Yep. And maybe Crotone, fine, they're not the biggest quality team, but they still are a professional team, and if you make a mistake, you're gonna pay, and we did.
Granted, one of their been like the most and the Verde goal. I'm sorry to cut you off, Johnny, because I know Johnny is a big Koulibaly advocate, and I think he's probably the best center back or one of the best center backs in our league and probably in the world. But you got to tip off your hat to the Daniele Verde goal. That was an unbelievable goal. Fair. But again, I agree with what Ralph's saying about Koulibaly's not there, and it definitely showed. But sorry, Johnny, you can go ahead.
Yeah, but I mentioned that basically on the Calcio Connection pod that without Koulibaly, the games that he's not there, the back line looks completely lost. And honestly speaking, it's not only that like Ralph said it perfectly. Crotone is a professional team. Yeah, it's not a top tier team, but Simi's probably one of the most informed strikers right now. And he's a very, very dangerous player that you can't underestimate. And he got 2 goals that game. And I mean, that was Simi's
16th and 17th goal of the season. When the commentator said that, I said, "Are you kidding me?" I was like, he's going to get another one.
He's been scoring braces. He's been scoring braces every other week.
Yeah, he kind of started quietly, more or less, because I think he was injured at one point, and he had 8 goals in March. So he's been good. I mean,
he scored a lot of goals in Serie B as well last season.
Well, I think he was the leading scorer in Serie B last year, if I'm not mistaken.
He was.
Yeah,
he was. He was. Right. Yes, he was.
But Nick, you want to talk maybe about the Juve game maybe a bit more? It's transitioning from the Crotone match. I don't know.
What did you guys think about that game? I mean, at least it was finally played after 6 months? 6 months and a couple of days. Mm-hmm. 2 postponements, the whole politics. The game was also almost played in courts. What did you guys think of finally the game on the pitch?
Ralph, you want to take it away?
So the first half was pretty shambolic, For me, the first half was pretty shambolic. I think that it was very pacey at first. You had Ronaldo missed the header, and then Zielinski missed a sitter, and it was a lot of shambles going on there. But when Ronaldo finally got his goal, and I mean, Chiesa just destroyed Husai on that left hand side there. And I think he actually did play on the left, didn't he? And it was just a mess. an open Ronaldo. We should have had a penalty kick. Some might argue that Juve should have had a penalty kick too with the whole Chiesa foul. What I've seen is that I guess the rule is that if you are fouled anywhere near the like out of bounds, the foul counts to the closest place on the pitch, and that would have been the penalty box. So it should have been a penalty kick. I'm not sure if VAR looked at it or not, but they decided not to give it, and I think that because of that, they decided not to give the Zielinski foul from Alexandro another look too, which kind of sucks. But no excuses. Napoli's first half really killed the game for us because we played so much better in the second half. We let Dybala take a shot and he scored. Can't argue that either. I thought it was and I'm not as mad about the loss as I thought I would be, because when you look in retrospect, like Nick said, the match was played and it's out of the way. It's done. It's off everybody's shoulders. We lost. I would have much rather lost on the pitch, is what I said when this whole thing first started. I would much rather lose 3-0 on the pitch or 2-0 on the pitch or 2-1 on the pitch than in the courts with a point deducted, because the point deducted could be a very, very big thing at the end of the season. We were all saying, can you imagine if Napoli were in 5th place by 1 point and the point deducted would have got us to, because look at it this way, and that's another thing, and I'll let Ralph talk in a minute. I ramble,
It's all right. No,
it's why we love you.
Yeah.
That's why I pay you to make books, Ralph.
That's it.
Patience is a virtue. Another big reason why I'm not so upset about this loss is the whole time when Insigne got his goal in the penalty kick in the 90th minute, I'm thinking that, okay, we have the tie break. So I put it on Twitter. I put it on Far From Vesuvius. I put a nice little, a couple pictures in there. I took some time with it. I thought to myself, all right, cool, we got the tie break. Turns out we don't have the tie break. No one has the tie break right now. It's going to come down to goal differential in the league and goals scored in the league if that's tied. That's what's going to happen. Sure. So right now, as we stand, if Napoli and Juventus end up tied, Juventus win the tie break because they have a +3 goal differential on us. And if that somehow gets tied up, we would be in an advantage because we have the second most goals in the league. We have more goals than Juventus do. So at least there's that to hang our heads on. I thought we had that tiebreak, but there's another way into the tiebreak. But we do have the tiebreak on Atalanta, and we're only 2 points out of them. So if we end up tied with Atalanta, we get the tiebreak because we have more goal. We have the 6-5 in the aggregate scoreline. So we get that tiebreak. Now, could you imagine if we finished tied with Atalanta, right?
Yeah.
But that one goal, or not tied with Atalanta, I'm sorry, 1 point behind Atalanta, right? And that 1 point that was taken away from us in the courts was the deciding factor, where we could have been tied with Atalanta and had their tiebreak. It would have been an absolute. De Laurentiis would have gone off his rocker, and that's a fact.
So what happens if, let's say, Atalanta wins the Coppa Italia and we end up finishing 5th? They still qualify for Champions. No, they don't get the automatic qualification for Europa League. They get their spot passed down.
So Coppa Italia doesn't determine a Champions League spot. Coppa Italia determines a Europa League.
Yeah.
So what happens is, here's the deal: if Roma win the Europa League, they get an extra Champions League spot. So it would be top 4 in Roma, especially if Roma doesn't finish top 4. Atalanta winning the Coppa Italia has no bearings on the Champions League. So Atalanta, So Atalanta would have. So right now it's Milan with I don't remember the exact points, but Milan have 4 more points than Napoli. Juve have 3 more, and Atalanta have 2 more. So it's pretty tight. 3, 4, and 5. 2, 3, and 4 is pretty tight.
2, 3, 4. Yeah, you're right. I'm looking at it now. You're right, Rafa. So now Milan with 60, Juventus with 59, Atalanta with 58, and Napoli with 56. So that's
with 9 games left, boys. With 9 games left, and then I also look at Juventus.
Ralph, you made me a promise,
road.
Rafa. You know.
I also look at Juventus's road in the next 9 games. They actually have 10 because the penultimate match of their season is the Coppa Italia final. So in between Inter and Bologna, there's that Coppa Italia final with Atalanta. So while we have, I believe it's Fiorentina and Verona or something like that. So, we are actually at an advantage there when it comes to Juventus and Atalanta too, because, they've got – listen, it's going to be tight. It's going to be fun. But that we were saying that on the rant on Sunday after the match. At least it's fun. At least it's not like there are no fans there and we're not having a good time. At least it's like we have something, and
Rob,
if you ask any Napoli,
right?
if you ask any Napoli fans before all this, we'd be in 12th place. Take it away, Ralph. Sorry.
There you go.
Well,
so Ralph, any additions?
Any additions? Thankfully, Koulibaly was on the field. No, Napoli. I kind of said in the post game, but Napoli Juve has been the biggest coin toss all season. These games, and like Rafa said, it's good that these standings are tight. At least we have a race. It wasn't even Rocco said it that Rafa's son that at least it wasn't Juve up by 10 points in January, and then because lately it really has felt that way. And then good for Juve. I'm not mad at that, but I think overall for Calcio fans with a tighter race, it's just more entertaining in my opinion. So I like that aspect of it. As far as the game goes, right from the jump, you kind of knew, all right, whoever's more hungry is going to win today. And I think that's pretty true about all their games this season. Whoever wanted it more was going to win, or whoever got that lucky bounce was going to win. You saw we won on 2 penalty kicks for both those games. So it's Napoli Juve has been such a coin toss this season. And it was again last game. I questioned some of Gattuso's I guess all season we've been questioning some of Gattuso's tactics. We go back and forth, Ralph and I, and the rest of the Napoli fans, and even with you guys in the chat when you're there. And I like Gattuso. Don't get me wrong. If he stayed another year, I wouldn't have a problem with that at all. So let's that's my disclaimer. But I think sometimes I don't understand the rhyme or reason as to why he would do something. Maybe that's me not knowing enough or not having enough experience as a soccer fan, or is it like, hey, I don't know. I always try to look at 3 games, like what did you do for 3 games? And then that's how I would make my decision or at least make my prediction or my analysis about what we should do for maybe the next game, among other things. And if I wouldn't have changed much, but I would have liked to see Nottingham start that day, only because I try to look for balance. At this point, we took our speed and we kind of put it on the right with Lozano when maybe I felt it should have been in the middle, so we could have just attacked Chiellini because he's a little slower. Let's keep it real. Like they had to hack Ozzy every time he was on. Every time Ozzy got the ball, something happened. They had to headlock him or do something like that to stop him. And he, ultimately what he did led to the penalty to score only goals. So I would have appreciated to see Ozzy. We bought the kid. Let's put our faith in him. He said the other day he came out in a video. He was like, "You see nothing yet," and that riled me up. And I was like, all right, this kid, there's something inside, like his fire's relit. Maybe he's more confident. Maybe his shoulder doesn't hurt as much anymore. He got that little head bang thing out the way. He played with all his, all his peoples with Nigeria. And maybe he got this new refound confidence, and I would have liked to seen that being used for that game. I love Mertens. He's my favorite guy, and without a doubt, he should have been in that starting lineup. I said that in the 56th minute, those 11 players, I mean, in hindsight's 2020, but in the 56th minute or 54th minute when all those changes happened, that was the starting 11 I would have probably liked to see, But I that would be the big takeaway for me was that.
That's fair.
And I think it's also like a growing experience for Gattuso too, injuries, suspensions, players in and out of the roster. It's hard for him to generally come up with like a solid formation or solid tactics through and through. And I think now, if he stays, if I can predict that he stays, I think maybe next season he might be a bit more diverse tactically than he would be this season.
I agree. Sure. I think me personally. I think like I'm obviously a Gattuso fan. Milan legend. I am a Milan fan. So for me, Gattuso has a place in my heart always. And sometimes the criticism that he gets, sometimes it's fair. He does have his faults. But I think what he's done for this Napoli side, and again, and I said it when he was with Milan, the cards that he was dealt at Milan, he did the best with, right? The cards that he was dealt with this Napoli side, and we know where he got him from after Ancelotti left, the whole turmoil. We know the whole story, right? And Gattuso took it on the chin. He takes all the blame. He puts his nose down and he works, right? And again, he's there. They're there, right? The Napoli, it's not like they're out of the conversation for top four. We have a question concerning top four, and I'll let Nick ask that. But it just, I think he will stay another year. I think Napoli should put their faith in him for at least another year, because again, guys, we all know sometimes the grass ain't greener on the other side. And do you guys really want Saudi back? Are you guys really gonna go grab an Allegri? I don't know, right? So again, he does deserve some criticism, obviously, and I know you guys have criticized him on your show before. I have tuned in for that, but at the same time, I think for what he has and what he's been able to do and where he's been able to take them and have the locker room and really the players really and him, they're like this. They are together.
Sure.
Not every coach can kick another player up the ass and they're gonna say, okay, this guy loves me. This guy's got my back. You know what I mean? When he did that to Politano, right? So. I think, he is Calabrese. He does come from the South. I think that Southern mentality is there. And, for me, Gattuso should stay. But, Nick, I'll let you ask the top four question.
Yeah, we have the social media question from Six Side Calcio. What are your expectations for Napoli finishing in the top four? I know, Rafa, you kind of touched upon it, mathematically. But, what do you expect when it comes to that?
I feel like they can. I mean, I really do. I feel like they can. Again, looking at Juve's last 10 games. They have to play Atalanta twice, once in the league and once in the cup. They have to play Inter. They have to play Milan, who are fighting for a Scudetto and a Champions League spot. They have to play Sassuolo, who are fighting for a Europa League spot. These are tough games for them. And Napoli's really only tough opponent right now is, Inter. Basically, they play Inter after Sampdoria. This week it's Sampdoria, next week it's Inter. They have to play Lazio after Inter, but I think with a full squad, Napoli can beat Lazio. They lost to Lazio last game because there was no Koulibaly, no Mertens, no Insigne because he was suspended. No, Lozano got hurt. We were depleted, and the games that Napoli lost against Spezia and Verona, I guarantee we won't lose those two again. I can guarantee that. With a full squad, it won't happen. So for me, when it comes down to Napoli and Juve, I think Napoli have the advantage. Atalanta's schedule I haven't seen, but I really do feel like Napoli have what it takes to get to fourth. And you never know because Milan have become very unpredictable as well. Napoli have a real chance mathematically to finish in second. And nobody here has expected that at all. I mean, I didn't even expect second. I expected at least fourth.
Yeah.
But Yeah, if it happens, he absolutely deserves to stay. Will he stay? I don't know. Napoli are looking to move on, but I do think that it is attainable. It's not out of the question for top four. You can't exclude them in this situation right now.
That's fair, Ralph. What do you think?
Oh, I mean, without a doubt, there's a possibility. And I was speaking to Raff maybe like a couple of days ago, and I was saying or there was, I think it was IFTV or something. They put the prediction for the top four, and you got to understand, forget just this season. Look at the past 10 years. Napoli have pretty much been in the top four, with the exception of maybe 1 or 2 seasons, I believe. So what? 8 out of 10 years been in the top four. I think they've earned their right to be in this conversation at the very least. I did say it was going to be a tight race. So putting that into consideration, anything could happen. But without a doubt, Napoli deserve at least the respect to say, hey, they are contenders. They are contenders for one of those spots up there. I won't say second, but at least 3 or 4. And why not? Why not them? And
one season outside of the top 5, and everybody's written Napoli off, even at the beginning of the season, where Napoli fully
to have
full
a bad
strength.
Season.
Yeah, full strength went 2-0, 4-0, 6-0.
So
I mean,
you're right.
Just for that alone, I would say yes. Just based on the numbers, more than being biased or a fan of Napoli. So I think it's possible.
No, that's fair. And I mean, listen, I think you guys are right. One off year is not gonna change what you've done in the past. We're currently seeing a Juventus side, and again, it's not to point at Nick because he is the Juventus fan here, but
let's
Nick
point
has
at it.
No.
You're the Juve guy?
No. But
guilty
Nick
as
has said it
charged
on our podcast. No. But Nick has said it on our podcast. He is when we message each other, he said it. Just because we're not. Juventus is not going to win. They're not going to win the Scudetto this year. They're not going to make it the 10 in a row. Guys, listen, they won nine straight, right? And I don't think 1 year is going to define your entire club's history. The same thing with Napoli. Napoli had, in my opinion, the year where I think they maybe should have taken it was the year that they were fighting neck and neck, and it was the end of I don't remember what year it was, a couple years ago. That they shot themselves in the foot. Was it 17?
Yeah, we won't talk about the Fiorentina game.
Yeah, exactly, right? So
91
again,
points,
guys,
and we didn't.
Yeah, exactly, right? So they had all kinds of goals, and it's the historical season. But yeah, no, I think I would definitely, guys, agree with you. But before we let you go, I am wearing the Insigne jersey. I know we had you guys on tonight, so I had to put on the Insigne Italy jersey. I kind of just wanted to quickly. There you go. I kind of quickly wanted to ask about Insigne just before we let you guys go. Just have you seen any? Because me personally, I've seen some. I don't know how to say it, but with Insigne, I think sometimes he's hot, sometimes he's cold. Mentally, performance-wise, being a captain. Have you seen any progression in Insigne? Is he, the next? Obviously, he seems to be one of the next bandiera for Napoli, right? And I don't know. I just wanted your quick thoughts on Insigne this season. He's been having, I think, a great season. I believe he has 13 goals on the year, if I'm not mistaken. You guys can correct me if I'm wrong, but that's up there for one of his top seasons. I just want to hear what you guys have to say about his progression as a leader, as a captain, and really putting Napoli, not only the club but the city, on his shoulders. I don't know, Ralph. I guess we'll let you take it away this time.
I want to go first. No.
There you go, Ralph.
I want to go first now. No,
yeah.
I was pretty harsh on him when we first started the rant. We had first started a rant about the end of, I believe it was the last 2 weeks in December. And I don't know when you remember, he got kicked out of that Inter game. He kind of lost his head. Or I believe he got a yellow card. It was a second yellow card. Then he wasn't available for the next. What? Rafa, help me. Stat guy. Did Insigne get red carded that game?
He got the red card against Inter.
Inter, because they were given a penalty kick, and he must have said something to the ref.
Yeah,
and,
he got red carded.
I was really, really upset with his performance as a captain. I'll get into Insigne the player in just a moment, but I was upset with him as a captain. I even came out and said I'd probably prefer Dries Mertens with the armband for me, just for his general attitude. But since then, and I would say once things started getting I would say after January, I think Insigne started turning a new leaf. He was a little calmer. I don't know whether he spoke to maybe Gennaro was talking to him or what have you, and he seemed to turn things around and take the responsibility. And I think with the Sassuolo game, he kind of called his team merda. I said this last, and now for some people, I know that's kind of a conflicting thing, but I'm the type of guy. I worked in the restaurant business all my life, and when you got to do something, you got to hold something accountable right away, and I liked when Insigne held his team accountable for their mistakes. You can't just coddle these guys. You got to let them know. And just like, I guess what I'm trying to get at was that he finally let his emotions go. He said what he had to say. He made peace with it. They came to terms, and I think with a little bit of that came this new found energy, this bit of rebuilding, and I saw more of a captain. And then he got to play in with the national team, which of course is definitely a big boost of confidence for him. But as a player, I feel this is some of the best Insigne we're ever going to see. So we should appreciate it and savor the moment because he is a fine player. He's quick. He has great vision. I know sometimes I will say that he needs to pass instead of shoot. I'll say that much. I know he loves that little kick he does when he cuts in and with his right foot and he tries to bend it into the top corner. I know that's like his signature move, but I'd like to see. Yeah, and that's cool with me. Hey, go for it. He had that beautiful free kick against Roma that he dedicated to Maradona. So all in all, he is, like you said, Adriano, he's a bandiera because think of every Neapolitan kid on that street watching him. This guy's 5'4". He's a captain of his hometown team. And he's the co-captain of the Italian national team, who's arguably one of the best international teams in the world in history. And this little Scunizzo is there.
Scunizzo.
You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Like this little Scunizzo's there. So I hope everybody can appreciate how he's grown as a player, who he is. I know he's not perfect, but he's ours. He's something to be proud of, and he's gonna go down in history. And avanti così.
There you go.
Yeah, so I'm gonna take Ralph's side on Insigne's take, but I'm gonna disagree with the Inter red card. I think him getting that red card was a symbol of his captaincy. I think I was very hard on him when he took over the role. When Hamsik left, I got into an argument with a certain Napoli Twitter legend because of it. Because I think he misunderstood what I had said. I love Insigne as a player and as a Napolitan. But as far as captains were concerned, I just didn't see it at the time. And I think this season, ever since Gattuso took over, to be honest with you, I think you see a lot of it's funny because Ancelotti had said that he always wanted to play with Insigne. He always wanted to have Insigne as a player on his team, and when he took over Napoli. And I just didn't see the correlation there. It just never materialized. I think there was one special moment between the two when it was like when he scored the winner against Salzburg in the group stage of the Champions League that season as a substitute. So, but with Gattuso, Insigne has become like, they're very close. And I think Insigne plays differently than Gattuso did, obviously. But I think Insigne has adapted the attitude of Gattuso.
Cazzima,
exactly.
That's right.
The play of Insigne, and I couldn't be happier with him as a a captain. But to Ralph's point too, Mertens, even Koulibaly, I mean, I can pick maybe another 2 players that could be a captain of this squad, because they just care. They give 2 shits. You know what I'm saying? And but the fact that Insigne has taken, has become one with this role is very big for Napoli. His best season was in 16-17 when he had 18 goals, 9 assists. He's at 15-5 now.
15-5, sorry.
He's 3 goals away from tying his all-time leading goal scoring record in a season, which is 18, which is that season. He also scored 18 in Serie B, with Pescara that one year before he came up. But by far the best season he's had since that 2016-17 season. But even the season before that, he had 12 goals, 10 assists. He's really grown into this role. And I do believe under his leadership, his leadership has also made him he's matured as a player as well, because it shows in the national team. If you ask me, in this national team, in this Azzurri, if you ask me, Insigne and maybe Barella and Donnarumma are the only 3, maybe Verratti 4, maybe Jorginho 5, are the 5 players.
The list is going to keep on going here.
Well, that are a lock for the Euro. That are a lock for the Euro, that are a lock for the World Cup 2022. Like these are players that are there's nobody else on that left other than Insigne. How the right you can, Chiesa, Politano, Bernardeschi, who didn't get called, who should have got called, Berardi, Insigne on the left, and basta. Not have no one else is starting on that left side.
100%.
There you go. That's why I got this jersey, number 10. I don't think that number will change. Again,
and that's another thing. That's prestigious too.
Number 10.
He's gained that number 10 because there might have been a time where he didn't wear 10. Maybe I think it was it might have been a one other time, and then I saw someone else in the 10 because they didn't go. They weren't able to go because the ASL, because the game against Juventus after that was a thing. That's why he didn't wear 10, because he wasn't there. But that's an honor. Roberto Baggio, Francesco Totti, name it. Who else? Legends of the team. That's a very high honor. That's number 10 on Italy is probably just as important as number 10 on Maradona for on Napoli for Insigne, I think.
There was never a time
he won't
Del
touch
Piero
10.
had the number 10.
What's that?
There was never a time where Del Piero had the number 10 for Italy.
He might have. I'm
probably.
It's right behind. It's right behind you, Ja.
I'm thinking, Totti and
Ja, turn around. Turn around. It's right behind you.
Just get out of frame.
That's
for
the number
second.
10 right there. There we go. Unless he was number 0, but I think
there you go. There you go. So yes, he did. Del Piero. That's another name. Del Piero. It's another fantastic player. Right?
He's in elite company, and again, like I said, that number 10 on Italia is just as prestigious as number 10 on Napoli for that Maradona wore. And he would never touch that number 10 because it just obviously he can't. But if he was asked to, he still wouldn't.
Of course.
But he's got that 10 on Italia, and that's great. And he wore the captain's armband when Chiellini was out and Bonucci was out, and he's next in line. This guy can captain the national team in 2022, 2026.
There you go.
We could see Insigne lift the World Cup like Cannavaro did. Imagine 2 Neapolitans lift the World Cup in a row. Imagine
you guys are going to be buzzed.
Juve Twitter.
have some bragging rights for a little while.
There you go. But guys, I think that's all we have for you guys tonight. I just want to say from myself and my 2 fine co-hosts, Nick and Johnny, we couldn't thank you guys enough for taking the time out of your night to come tonight to talk to us about Napoli, Calcio, some Azzurri talk at the end there. So honestly, a big thank you from us. We do appreciate all the work that you guys do, in the Calcio community that we see on Twitter, all the fun work that you guys do. Anything you guys want to plug of any sort, your podcast, Far From Vesuve, anything you want to plug, The floor is yours, guys.
Go ahead, Ralph.
Well, no, I mean, you can catch me on Twitter, my personal account, CNC USA 26, and then of course at the Raff Rant for our show. I also want to say thank you guys. Really, I'm kind of the new kid on the block in the Napoli, well, Calcio Twitter world, I should say, and I have dues to pay, and I know that, and I'm happy to do it. But your continued support on our show has given me so much confidence and has helped me move forward. And I'll say it here on the air to you guys in your face.
Beautiful.
And I mean it. I'm not trying to blow sunshine up anybody's butt here. I mean, I might, I'm trying to get a second appearance, but but really,
don't worry.
I see you guys in the chat.
A lone second appearance, man.
Yeah. Solo.
One of right. Just me. No.
Just you.
No, but really, you guys have been there since the jump. I mean, you were there from the beginning with us. Yeah. One thing Raff and I wanted to do was have content creators and different fans there to speak with us about anything Calcio, not just Napoli. And I love you guys for that. And I'm so grateful for it. So thank you.
No, we appreciate it. And listen, I
if you ever need my help,
I try to put in. I try to put La Bella Figuria for our account. Right, I do control most of the social media stuff. So and I always like to show love to good people. Forget content. You guys are good people, right? And for us to connect to other great content creators, other great people in this community that love it or hate it, we're part of, I guess. It's just so amazing. So for sure you'll see us in your comments again, and always show love. That's 100%.
You got to get you guys in, and I'm always here to help if you ever need anything.
Absolutely, Rafa. Anything?
Yeah. I want to support. I want you guys to ask you guys to support the hashtag Ralph for Macedonia, because he's working right now on his Macedonian passport because he loves Elmas so much. So he's a big Elmas supporter. So
you guys, you're
hashtag Ralph for Macedonia.
You're not a Pandev fan.
There you go.
Yeah.
Huge Pandev.
Pandev is.
We're big Pandev fans too. Yeah.
Big.
No Goran, we call him.
I'm such a big fan of his. I do my hairstyle like his sometimes.
Yeah, me too.
When I grow it out.
There you go.
Adriano, we're blessed with the hair, dude. We're blessed with the hair.
Yeah, I got something going.
It's there.
Yours is beautiful though. Like the locks, man. It's too much.
I swear.
Enjoy a lot. We'll enjoy a lot while it lasts, fellas. You got 3 eggs over here. Us 3 beat Johnny.
I used to have really long hair like Raff growing up until I was in my early 20s.
I saw that picture you posted with was it your cat that you had? You had a cat, right?
Yeah. When I got him. That was when I was in on American terms would be grade 8. I was in grade 8 when I got when I got him and stuff. Yeah, and I had that long hair up until I started college, and then cut it short in college, and then early 20s hit, and all of a sudden, hey, what's this? Why is there spots all of a sudden? And then it's like, okay, time to shave it. And now I'm in my late 20s.
But at least you've embraced it. There's so many people, and I'm in the business. You guys know this. There's so many people that hang on, that just clutch onto that freaking hair that you don't need. It's not there. It's not there.
My dad. Hey, Johnny, my dad.
Tony, shout out to Tony.
No, but at Rafa Napoli 83, at Far From Vesuvius, what we do now with Far From Vesuvius, obviously Ken has left us. With nothing happened, no animosity. He's just way too busy for everything, and he'll be back soon one day, I think. But let him be. He's got to do his thing. But so for now, what we're doing is we're taking the Raff Rant audio, the Raff and Raff Rant. And we're turning the audio into podcasts for the Far From Vesuvius outlet, just so that if anybody wants to listen in, and they can't leave their phone on their YouTube, or look on Facebook and then have to get out of Facebook and stop the audio. You can download the podcast. I throw a little intro in there, and then we put in the Raff and Raff Rant with whoever our guest is at the time, and also we're Frank Sidekick and I are starting up the Maradona era chronicles again, like next week at some point. We want to get that done, and then I'd like to start another chronicle. We're thinking of the Mazzarri era. That's a little spoiler alert for you guys to do the Mazzarri era. Just chronicle the time that we had there, go over all the matches, go over all the memories. But yeah, that's it, man. Just at Far From Vesuvius on Twitter. You know, there you go. That's it.
Beautiful, guys.
Thanks a lot for joining us. It was a nice long conversation. Nice conversation about Napoli, about the Stadio, the former San Paolo, and thanks so much again, Raff and Ralph, for joining us.
Thanks, guys. Pleasure's
you.
mine.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Now with the chance to take the penalty that could put Ajax 2 up. It's Tadic, and Paul Lopez makes the save.
So we just had that fantastic chat with Raff and Ralph from the Raff and Raff Rant. We don't, normally our podcasts don't get this long, but we like to do our cards and MVPs, talk about the other things, so we don't just focus on Napoli this week. There was a lot going on, so we'll have that opportunity to talk through our cards and MVPs. What do you guys want to start with?
Start cards and then end the show off with the good stuff, I guess, with the MVPs.
Yeah.
Take it away.
Can I take it away? I'll take it away.
Go for it.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm gonna give a red card to the international break because you saw how many like COVID cases there were coming back from the international break. Like
sloppy. Yeah.
Like already people don't like the break because of injuries that could happen, and then during this pandemic, it's players coming back with COVID and then spreading it to their teams. There was an outbreak in Italy, and then some players test positive, some players test negative. The thing is, you could test negative, then 2 days later you could test positive. That's what happened with Salvatore Sirigu. Played in the game, played in the derby. He tests negative, plays in derby, tests positive. Bernadeschi, same thing. So it's a recipe for disaster with these international breaks. But I think at this point, honestly, there's been so many COVID cases in the city. I think all the players are just immune to it. And
it's crazy to even
I'm
say
not
that.
joking.
It's crazy
I think
say that. Yeah.
it's just gone around at this point. But hopefully it ends soon. Hopefully they'll get their vaccines too soon. So by the time Euros come around, let's just hope COVID cases don't ruin players' chances at those tournaments. So that's going to be my red card.
It's going to go to the pocket and get out the red. It's a red card.
Adri or Johnny?
Joe, you want to take it away? You want me to go?
Well, yeah, mine will be quick because we talked about it already. My yellow card is just Napoli's defensive play versus Crotone. Basically, just as I said before, when Koulibaly's not in the lineup, their back line is completely lost, and 2 out of the 3 goals from Crotone came from very big defensive mishaps. So Napoli's defense just needs to realize that, hey, without Koulibaly, we're pretty vulnerable. So they get my yellow card for the week.
This is definitely going to be another yellow.
Adri?
Yeah, so I kind of had different things to really touch upon card-wise. If I'm going to go back to the Milan-Samp game, 6:30 in the morning, seems to be Milan's kryptonite. I don't know. They can't get anything going when they play 6:30 a.m. Eastern time here in Canada, here in Montreal. So I guess obviously the mistake by Teo Hernandez wasn't the best. Just their sluggish attitude was another thing I didn't like. It was just, again, maybe it was the international break like Nick mentioned. Teams coming back looking a bit sluggish. Milan, I can definitely say, did in that game against Samp. Going back to we were talking a bit before about Juve Napoli. The refereeing for me in that game, a bit atrocious. Mariani, I think, lost control a bit of that game. They didn't call one penalty, but they didn't call the other one. Make the right call. We wouldn't be discussing this on the podcast, a couple days later. So I think, merits some sort of knock for him. I think lost the game, a crucial game. A game where I think personally could have ended in a tie, but I think my main one, the red card I'm going to give is Nick mentioned international break. Nick mentioned COVID cases and just sloppiness with that. Every time messaged me something different. I'm like, wow, another COVID related incident. It seems to be in our messages personally. So, but yeah, red card, Dybala, McKennie, Artur, that whole party shenanigan bullshit. I think, again, guys, this is over a year we're doing this. It's the same routine we've been doing with this COVID, with this pandemic, and you guys, in international break, you guys are gonna, put this, do this, get together party, whatever you want to label it as. It was wrong. The only, I guess, positive I guess you can take out of that, yes, Juventus did step down on them and give them the suspension for the one game. I kind of deep down, I kind of want to say like 2020. I want to say, maybe if they were in first or fighting really for first, maybe they weren't to suspending them. I don't know, but listen, they did the right thing in suspending them. So yeah, red card goes for McKennie, Artur, Dybala for get together party, whatever you want to call it.
Could be a red card. The red card is out. And it's no surprise. Absolutely is against the rules.
Yeah, at least, the one game suspension was deserved. And
there's no need.
None of them started. None of them started either for the game against Napoli. So I think that was done on purpose too. Not starting them. MVPs. Originally, I was going to give mine to Raspadori from Sassuolo. Depleted Sassuolo
it's a
team.
Good shout.
On the weekend. And he actually wore the captain's armband, and they tied Roma. But I'm going to go to the other side now. I'm actually going to give it to the entire Roma team for their display today in the Netherlands against Ajax in Amsterdam. They say all roads lead to Rome. At this point, it's all hope is in Rome, and because there are only hope left.
Making me blush here.
and you know what? You go down 1-0. You get the penalty. Pretty easy save by Paul Lopez. Looked like Tadic when you play FIFA and you forget how to aim. But you know what? Good on Lopez to stop that. And then the comeback. Roma gets lucky with that Pellegrini goal, and beautiful goal from Ibanez. So for me, Roma's gonna have to I'm gonna give it to the entire Roma team. They're gonna get my MVP.
In by Pellegrini, helped away by Klaassen. What a finish that is! Roger Ibanez has completed the turnaround.
Johnny?
Thank you for that shout out for Roma. I kept my MVP.
But wait, before you go, it's deserved. Like, I like Nick that mentioned it too. I want to just say I like that he mentioned it, because A, they're their only hope, or only Italian hope in Europe, and B, I don't understand. Maybe they just have to play in Europa League rather than Serie A, because they seem to be getting results there and not in Serie A. I don't know, but again, I think it's well deserved, and hats off to them today. But go ahead. Sorry, John.
No, it's okay. Just to touch upon that quickly, it was weird because even with Dzeko, you could tell that Dzeko's still kind of phoning it in, but overall the team played much better than I expected. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to watch the game because I was at work and my appointment showed up. So shout out to Francesco for giving me his DAZN account, even though I couldn't use it. But there's still another game to play, but it's nice to get a 2-1 win on the road. But to touch upon MVP for the week that we were reviewing, I'm going to have to give it to Simi. We mentioned it before. The guy's got 16 goals. Honorable shout out to Muriel, too. He got 2 goals this past week as well. But I like to point out Simi because it's on a team like Crotone where, you don't expect much from them given their state or what's reality of the team is. But I'm surprised that they gave Osimhen a Nigerian Player of the Year, even though he didn't do much because of injuries and sicknesses and whatnot, and because they probably counted what he did in France. But either way, Simi's probably been the better Nigerian player out of the two.
100%.
And that's not a knock to Osimhen. Yes, I'm just saying because he's been injured and COVID and whatnot throughout most of the time anyways. But yeah, no, he definitely gets, in my eyes, MVP. And if by some, I don't know, chance that Crotone doesn't kind of continue like in Serie A next season, even though they're pretty much it's safe to say with 9 games left, they're pretty much on their way back down to Serie B. Unless Simi really wants to stay dedicated, I think he's going to be one of those guys that
a Serie A team, if they want to have a depth striker or somebody on their bench, he's probably going to get picked up by a Serie A team for sure to keep him in the top flight. So that's my prediction for Simi, but he also gets my MVP of the week.
No, that's it's well said and well deserved by Simi. And obviously we heard the news when.
No, I'll continue. I was gonna play a clip, but I'll play it after.
Sorry,
No,
sorry, no, and we obviously saw the news, when about the death threats or racism threats towards Simi's son, Crotone's mayor. Obviously, they made him his son a citizen, official citizen. As well of Crotone. So you know what? I think Simi has left a mark not only on Crotone, but in the country of Italy, and just being that a staple, I guess. These past years, every time Crotone comes up, we mention Simi's name, and again, 16 goals for Simi. For Crotone, a side like Crotone, I mean, that's some real kudos, that's some real respect. So. I definitely like that you mentioned him. For me, MVP, I had different names I wanted to shout out. Obviously, we mentioned the Insigne talk before. I was going to mention him. Quagliarella too. Obviously, he got the lucky but still skillful enough to score type of goal, chipping Donnarumma from probably about 30-35 yards away after the mistake by Theo Hernandez. He's just been fantastic. I think it's the 5th season in a row that he scored double digits with Sampdoria. So you know what? Again, aging like fine wine. That's Quagliarella for sure. And just another name that he's been performing. I think as of late, he performed in the Derby della Mole against Juve. But Antonio Sanabria, a brace in that game. He's just, sometimes during the year, some of his goals have been questionable, whatever. But he's been a player that, just maybe under the radar because he plays for Torino. And, when we think about Torino, we think about Belotti, but or Zaza every now and then. But Sanabria really has been, performing. Again, like I said, the brace in the Derby, picking up a crucial point in the Derby too, right, with the 2-2 draw. But I think all those guys deserve an MVP shout for me in these past weeks in Serie A.
Well, it's over the top four. Simi with his brace. Crotone pull another goal back. It's 3-2. The Nigerian surging to 15 goals for the season.
Terrible mistake, Theo Hernandez. It's gifted. It is on a plate and exquisitely finished. Fabio Quagliarella is into double figures for the season yet again. But what a calamitous mistake at the back. There's Mandragora. Oh, what a hit that is, and nodded in. Torino have their equaliser from Tony Sanabria. And for all their pressure and all their endeavour, they deserve it.
So that will do it for us this week. Adriano, where can people find us on social media?
Yeah, absolutely, guys. I know. Please excuse us for going maybe a bit over time limit tonight. We had 2 guests, so we had a lot to discuss, a lot of opinions to let be shared. And but yeah, guys, like we say every week, where you can find us at the Calcio Guys on all social media platforms: Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube. Catch our podcast on all your favorite podcasting platforms. Give it a like, give it a subscribe, share. And definitely just keep on the good word. We can't thank you all enough for all the support that anybody gives us. If it's a listen, if it's a follow, if it's just liking our content, we definitely do appreciate it and it doesn't go unnoticed. So again, guys, follow us all over the place and catch our podcast on all your favorite podcasting platforms. And we'll be back next week to talk about more Calcio.
Thanks for listening.
Ciao.
Bye.
The Calcio Guys is a weekly podcast by Adriano Donardo, Gianni Della Colli, and myself, Nicholas Di Giovanni. We want to bring Calcio back to its roots in our communities and share stories from around the world about why we're passionate about the beautiful game. You can listen to us anywhere where you listen to your podcasts, including Spreaker, Google Podcasts, iTunes, Spotify, iHeart Radio, and Mixcloud. Give us your opinion on social media at The Calcio Guys on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. The outro song is The Last Ones by Jazar.